An herb that's coming to mind for me right now as somebody who doesn't do what you do is licorice root. It's one of these really kind of commonly used ingredients in herbal medicine. I think you would call it a harmonizer. Like it helps the impact of other herbs, and it's one that I have personal experience of because I take it every day for my low blood pressure.
Nice.
And for me, it's very clear that I notice when I'm taking my 6 capsules of licorice root a day for a week, I wake up in the morning, my blood pressure is 120 over 80.
Nice.
If I'm down to taking one of these a day, I wake up in the morning, my blood pressure is 100 over 60.
Wow.
So there's kind of this direct impact that I'm seeing, and I understand some of the mechanism behind it because licorice, as I understand, raises blood plasma. So it helps with people like me with low blood pressure, which is why it's also contraindicated for people with high blood
Hmm.
pressure. So to me, that makes sense. Licorice is kind of this gentle root that's found in nature. It has a flavor. You can drink it in tea. Um, it's mild. It's not like a super potent medicine, but it also has this kind of overall impact on the body. Is it food or is it medicine? Is it indicated or contraindicated? If you have high blood pressure, it's contraindicated. So that's just an example that comes to mind for me. What are some of the sort of main tonic herbs that you find yourself focusing on in your practice?
It's a great question. And um, there's a number of them that we use very regularly. And I would say the medicinal mushrooms are some of the ones at the top of the list, specifically reishi mushroom, Ganoderma lucidum, which, you know, is it an herb or is it a mushroom? It still is in the tonic herb category. And so reishi, I would say, probably number one. And it's been that way for me for 20 years or so. We really have been getting deeply inspired by Tremella fuciformis, which is also known as snow fungus, which is another medicinal mushroom, generally found in China. And it's like a food. A lot of these are food like, just like lion's mane, which is an incredible tonic herb for the nervous system. It actually helps stimulate NGF, the nerve growth factor. And it's one of the few tonic herbs that we know about that can help regenerate nerves, neurological pathways. And so it's really beneficial for the brain and cognition, for memory, and then just for the whole nervous system in general. It's an incredible tonic herb that we work with often as well.
And it is
Um,
a delicious food.
yeah, it's
So
delicious
is
food.
snow fungus. Snow fungus is a really common edible in China. You see it all the time at all the little shops. They're selling it these little fluffy balls of dried mushroom, and it's in all the soups. And it's just something that over there, it's kind of like, well, this is just how we make soup. We use these mushrooms because they taste good, but they're also good for us. Like,
We're talking about tonic herbs and we're talking about the medicinal mushrooms within the tonic herbal category, the ones that we use most frequently that we're, excited about and that we're finding are benefiting us and benefiting all of our different clients. And, I mentioned Tremella fuciformis, the snow fungus we were talking about. I'd have to say it's probably the most regenerative medicinal mushroom that we work with and that we've come in contact with. It's considered to be a beauty tonic, so it's really nourishing for the skin, for like, internally too. I consider it to be profoundly regenerative for the whole internal gut lining, and it's just nourishing. It's nourishing to, I feel like, the fat content of the body,
yeah, it
so
has
for the brain too, it's really beneficial for the brain.
hyaluronic acid is the active ingredient that has been studied in lots of different, peer-reviewed articles on hyaluronic acid. It's a common ingredient that has been extracted from snow fungus and then put into all sorts of different beauty creams and, nutritional supplements you can buy for just hyaluronic acid, but you can get it from snow fungus and you can get it from extracts of snow fungus, which I think is a great place to get it.
Yeah, so we work with that a lot. Also, I absolutely love chaga, which chaga is relatively well known in the tonic herbal category, and we work with chaga. So all the medicinal mushrooms that we work with and that we formulate with are produced from fruiting body mushrooms. Oftentimes, they're grown in the wild, usually wild crafted if they can be, or they're what's called semi-wild cultivated, where the mushroom farmers will set it up kind of in a forest setting with, whether it is a hardwood mushroom or depending upon the substrate, they'll set it up so it's just within a natural environment doing what it naturally would do, and the beneficial compounds that can be accessed through it growing in its natural environment generally are greater than what could be found in some like sterilized lab setting. But I love chaga so much because to me, it's one of the most anti-inflammatory medicinal mushrooms that I know about and that we work with. It's super protective for the body. If you know Cliff High at all, he's on Twitter. He's a computer scientist, really knowledgeable guy. He's always talking about chaga, specifically in regards to COVID, because of the way that it tonifies the immune system and just strengthens the body's defenses, helps people be less likely to succumb to various viral issues and challenges, which is
Yeah,
cool.
what's super cool about mushrooms, a lot of these tonic mushrooms, is that they're actually immune modulators. They're not just going to stimulate the immune system to just be on full fire in the same way that certain herbs will. And they're not going to, depress the immune system in the way some other herbs do. For autoimmune diseases, you actually need to depress an overactive immune system. So some of these mushrooms are they're basically like intelligence for the cell. It helps the cell identify what kind of imbalance needs to be dealt with. And then it has these awesome raw materials with which to combat inflammation or crank up the immune system or dial back the immune system. So they're kind of like, I like to think of it as like intelligent foods. They like teach the body and they give the body the most intelligent phytonutrients that they need to be able to accomplish the highest aspects of what that cell can offer. So they keep the cells lively.
Basically creating homeostasis in the body. That's in many ways what it does. It helps balance and create homeostasis. And a lot of these medicinal mushrooms, whether it's reishi, lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga, turkey tail specifically, we use turkey tail all the time because it's such a potent antiviral. It's probably the strongest antiviral medicinal mushroom. And because of that, it's actually kind of hard to get right now. China, they're like always out of stock. Well, everyone's taking it in larger amounts now, especially because of the past 2 to 3 years in regards to COVID viral concerns. And so it's actually pretty hard to get. So what these different medicinal mushrooms do, and one of the reasons why a lot of our clients will work with them preventatively for various cancer concerns, whether they're in remission or whether they're in the process of getting to remission, it activates the killer T cells in the body. So they're called polysaccharides, are some of the main compounds in medicinal mushrooms, and they're long chain sugars. And within these long chain sugars, there's compounds that help activate the killer T cells, and they get them online more quickly. So our body's defenses can actively find whether it's viral stuff, whether it's mutated cells, whatever is toxic and poisonous and does not need to be there, it will find them more efficiently and then clear them from the body more effectively. And as long as people have a strong immune response and good immunity, and their elimination pathways are working effectively, and their body is able to clear out poisons and toxins, which we're surrounded by. We're in this soup of toxicity all the time. So as long as the body can clear it effectively, then people are less likely to have to deal with excessive growths of various cells. So that's kind of how we look at it in regards to cancer concerns. It helps, the way we talk about it is create cellular integrity. They help us create and maintain cellular integrity.